DJ, PK, and Berry Tramel joins us now from the Tulsa World, sports columnist, Big 12 guru. Berry, good morning.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing in Salt Lake?
Well, there's a lot of angst over the rankings. BYU's parked at number 11 no matter what they do. Win at Cincinnati on the road, beat a 7-win team by 12 points. Doesn't matter. Still parked at 11. And Utah won and dropped a spot. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't. You know, you can sort of rationalize both of those things, but it's just unfortunate. I'm not worried about what's happening now. I just don't see an avenue forward for Utah. BYU's got an avenue, which is they got to beat Tech.
Yep.
So maybe they can do it. I think it'll be a fun game. But I'm worried that Brigham Young's going to be on the outside looking in for the second straight year. A lot closer this year. But I think Utah is sort of stuck. I don't know what Utah could do. I don't even know if I don't think mass chaos would help Utah.
Yeah, they seem to be.
Has anybody in Salt Lake put out a dream scenario by which the Utes could actually get in?
No. Short answer. I mean, I'm constructing one while you're answering the question. Like, Miami loses to Pitt, that regains the spot they just lost, right?
Yeah.
BYU's just not going to lose to UCF. That's a level of chaos. No. Alabama, they have stubbed their toe. They're not just playing Auburn. They're at Auburn. So that could happen.
That could happen. So that'd be 11.
Okay, then you need
Oklahoma could lose. Oklahoma could lose to LSU. I mean, that could.
Okay,
happen.
Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State, and Lane Kiffin leaves, they're like, "Nope, you guys are out." Oregon could lose to Washington. I just don't think that Utah would catch them.
Yeah,
Oregon would still be 10-2.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we just did lay out an avenue where it could happen, but. A lot of things would have to.
Yep.
A lot of things would have to occur.
I'll throw this at you. We're watching the thing on Tuesday night, right? And we've got the chairman making a stupid 6-7 joke. This is no joking matter here. We got Reese Davis saying, "Well, if BYU gets in, it's a bid stealer. If BYU gets in, they're a bid stealer." He's talking about if they win the Big 12, at which point. They're a bid stealer. They'd be 12-1 at worst. That case, it'd be 11-2. But somehow that's a bid stealer. This is not, the Southern Conference ninth place team winning the conference or something. In basketball, right? It doesn't make any sense. So with that in mind, they make that statement. I'm wondering why every night at a half hour after this thing is over, why isn't Yormark having a conference call to start complaining? Saying this is an absolute joke. The silence coming out of the Big 12 is bugging me.
Yeah, and maybe some of that is happening. I mean, maybe when they have their annual, or I don't know how often they meetings with ESPN execs where they just slap each other on the back. How about it's not all that friendly, and how about it's contentious, and how about if Yormark doesn't want it, have a henchman do it and say, "Listen, show the clip of Reese Davis saying this and say this is BS. We're not putting up with this anymore." And maybe that is happening. I don't know, but here's the truth, and this is just the simple truth: is the Big 12 does get the short end on perception, and it does get the short end on the national narrative when it comes to discussions of college football. And we saw it play out with BYU last year. They didn't have to put the Cougars in the playoff, but the idea that BYU was or they 17 or 16 at the end, I forgot where. Well, they're way down here below all these teams they were clearly should be in a group with, like SMU. I mean, and it's just I don't know what's caused it. I'll just have to, I just need to. You ask a great question, because I was more thinking of the You know, when they meet in Scottsdale in the summer, and have their summer meetings or wherever they might do it, just ripping them. But you think the committee itself would be affected or moved by some sort of marketing or PR blitz? And I don't know who could do it. Who we got in the league that people actually listen to? Whether it's
David
coach
James,
or administrator. Somebody just comes out, like you said, just come out and try to get themselves on the McAfee show or something and say,
Urban Meyer. It's got to be Urban Meyer. I mean, I just can't think of anybody else whose interests would align. Like, he's at Fox. They've got the Big 12 contract. They do sell some games to ESPN. But Reese Davis works for ESPN. He's got to watch SEC games all the time. He has to watch them. Even if I don't know the guy at all. I'm just going to trust that he's trying to be down the middle, but he has to watch SEC games all the time. Urban has been here multiple times and knows BYU and has the stature to say, what is the committee thinking?
Yeah, no, I that would be a good one. I like that one. I would be like that one. And you know what? I don't think the Big 12, marketing wise, should get into a debate that, hey, Utah deserves to be ranked ahead of Miami. BYU deserves to be ranked ahead of Alabama. One spot. Or don't get into the minutia of that, because nobody would ever agree. But just point out some of the flaws in the perception and the presentation. What you said, BYU's a bid stealer, or when BYU last year is just so clearly misranked that you say, hey, wait, what's going on here? Everybody stop this train. We got a major problem. So that's what I think needs to happen, is just call them out on a regular basis, not for individual misranking, but to have for an individual debate. But when there's clearly just sort of this idea of go get in the corner, Big 12, and we'll tell you when and where you get to play, which is basically what's happening. If I was the Big 12, I'd be livid. At the ACC, is it 5? They got 5 teams in the top 25. Is that right? They did last week.
They do. They do.
Let me tell you what. I don't know that they got 5 in the top 50. They stink.
Pitt's ranked.
The ACC stinks.
Pitt's ranked, and they lost.
Their best team might be SMU. TCU and Baylor both beat SMU, and they're not in the top 6 of the Big 12.
Right.
I mean, the ACC is, just who was it? Somebody really got the short end of it. I thought Tulane got the short end of it. They were 24th last week.
24th this week. Yeah.
24th this week, and like the top 4 teams ahead of them lost. Or 4 of the teams ahead of them lost. The Illinois, what I call the Illinois crowd. By the way, where'd Illinois come from last week? I hadn't thought of Illinois football in a month. And all of a sudden they appear in the top 25 out of nowhere. I thought that was odd. But anyway, I'm with you. I think a Big 12 marketing campaign would be very good. And your Mark has chosen not to be an antagonist to the SEC and the Big Ten. He's chosen to be sort of,
he's a
try
pacifier.
to play both sides of it on the political side, and rather than stand up and
that bugs me.
Tiananmen Square. So I don't know. I don't know. He's smarter than I am. I'll say that, but I do think it may be time for the Big 12 to call them out for these public relations crimes.
Your Mark grew up in New Jersey, Berry, and I'm a Phoenix guy, but for the first 14 years of my life, I lived in New Jersey, so I know about all those dudes. And we wake up furious on a 75 degree sunny cloudless day. It's the way Jersey people do. And so I'm thinking we need some more anger in there. So you guys want to nominate Urban Meyer? I'm going to up the ante. A spokesman for the Big 12 who's angry, I'm going to nominate Mike Gundy.
Yeah, if you can get him riled up. Gundy's problem is he's not always pertinent on details.
So what? Even better.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe so. Maybe so. They sort of got one, and he's not really driving down the road we're talking about. He's driving down a different road, and that's Cody Campbell. He's not an angry person, but he's an influential person, and he's not. What they need is some. Cody Campbell has started a PR blitz on a different issue. The television marketing.
Television, yeah, right.
And that's a great thing, and and he doesn't come from a Big 12. I'm trying to save the Big 12. He's coming from, this is just common sense, and so that's a great guy to have on your side. But maybe having a big voice, Pat McAfee is a West Virginia guy.
Yeah,
maybe the Mountaineers need to bring him down and say, "Listen, you got to help us out here. This is not good. Start waving the flag for us." I don't really have much use for Pat McAfee, but it looks like the United States of America does. So people listen to him, and people are influenced. So that might be one you could get out there and mind. He does not seem to be the kind of guy that gets too worked up about who he offends, even if they're on his own team. So maybe he would take on the Reese Davises of the world.
There have been a lot of turnarounds in the Big 12 this year. Houston and Arizona have bounced up near the top of the standings. Obviously, last year it was ASU and Colorado and BYU. I mean, it was nonstop. Did Oklahoma State just make a hire that they're going to be a turnaround, and next year at this time, Utah and BYU fans are going to be obsessed with the Cowboys? And if not next year, in 2 years?
Well, who knows? I mean, it's a good hire on every level, but you don't know if it's going to work, right? I sort of think it's cool because this is I was going to say old Big 12 guy, but he's not really that old. But I remember him as a player. He was one of those, the Wes Welker, Amendola type guys that Mike Leach always had, a little short guy, 5'8". And he played in a bunch of big tech games, and now he's the head coach of the Cowboys, and he's got good quarterback pedigree and looks like he can lead a team. He's certainly done a great job at North Texas. So there's nothing not to like about the hire. But you'll just have to see, if it works. Some of the hires work, some don't. But there are no. He does not. He was not hired to rebuild the OSU program. There's no building going on in college football. There's no. It's you're just making it's makeover. It's a makeover job. Hey, I need you to make over my house, and you got 3 weeks, you got 5 weeks, you got 1 year in college football. Kurt Cignetti ruined it for everybody. So he proved, hey, this does not have to take a long time. So OSU's down to about 60 players. It looks to me like they got maybe 15 or 20 that could help them going forward. They probably need to keep more than that, just say, have a roster. But he's going to have 50 roster spots, 40 roster spots, 60 roster spots. He's going to have a bunch of roster spots to turn that roster over. So can he do that? Can he bring in 30 really good players that could help him start winning games? I give him a little bit of credit. They've gotten better, and the defense has really stood up. The last 2 weeks they've gotten beat 14-6 and 17-14. Before that, they were as good a pick as any as the worst power conference team you've ever seen. They were literally non-competitive with everybody. And, in Utah, if you watch the Cowboys last year, BYU just got out of that game barely alive, and Utah dominated them, but still it ended up pretty close score. I think it's 22-19. But there was none of that going on this year. They're getting beat, 48-7 and 69-3, and just they're non-competitive, and they've gotten a little better. So they clearly got some players, but I would think Utah and BYU wouldn't have to worry about them next year. Probably, if Morris is a good coach, 27 is probably would be the first sign of having to worry about it. But how about the non-legacy schools in the Big 12? Last year we had the four-way tie at the top: BYU, Colorado, Iowa State, and Arizona State. Cyclones, the only legacy member of the Big 12. This year, best schools, best teams. Tech's the only one. The newcomers are really doing a great job with BYU, Utah, Arizona State, Colorado last year, Arizona this year, Cincinnati. He's even, been one of the 4 or 5 best this year. I salute the newcomers. They've come in and said we can start winning immediately, and have. So power to them, and they've sort of shifted the power of the Big 12 out west. Really, is what's happened.
Yeah, we'll see how that develops. From BYU's perspective, do you think Oklahoma is vulnerable? Because obviously they didn't put away Missouri maybe the way we thought they could.
Yeah, LSU's an interesting team. LSU, I picked them to win the national title, and other people did too. And Garrett Nussmeier, I picked to win the Heisman Trophy. The coach was fired. The quarterback basically lost his job. They just said, we're not going to play you anymore. Just helps us win and helps you not get killed. Their offense is terrible. But the defense is still playing good. When the defense, it's like half the team is still playing and half the team is not. So OU's not going to roll in there and score 41 points Saturday. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and low-scoring games, by definition, can turn on a dime because, you're never 17 points out of a game. The Sooners clearly should win, and they're better, but if it's close, a turnover here, a big mistake there, all of a sudden something happens. And so it's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. And a lot of it just depends on how much pride LSU still has. And I got to tell you that they don't look like they've got much. They beat back Western Kentucky the other night in Tiger Stadium. What was it, 16-7 or 13-10 or something ridiculous? So I think there's no reason not to watch it, no reason not to hope, no reason for BYU to think it's impossible, but it is unlikely because Oklahoma is playing well. The defense is just so good. They potentially could shut out LSU the way that LSU offense is playing.
What does Thanksgiving look like for the Tramels?
Well, it's my favorite day of the year. And we always have a house full of people. This year we alternate with my parents and my wife's family and my family. So my family will be here and a slice of hers, and then a couple of family friends. And we have a great time. And then my second favorite day of the year is Friday after Thanksgiving, except when I have to do something crazy like fly to Louisiana for a football game, which I did last year. Bedlam, the demise of Bedlam has not been good. for Thanksgiving traditions, because that's why I think BYU and Utah ought to play on Thanksgiving weekend, so everybody in the state of Utah,
nobody has to travel.
It's less travel and all that. I don't understand what's going on in life, but anyway. So, but this year I'll be, both OU and OSU are at home, so nobody should be on the road. So it's a great weekend of football. It's fantastic. Thursday, a house full of people. My football enjoyment will be minimal. But Friday, I got the house to myself. I got only one job, and that is get the Christmas decorations up on the inside. So I'll be watching football while I put the tree up and all that, and then my wife can decorate it up when she gets home from shopping. But refrigerator full of leftovers. I love leftovers. Man, do I love Thanksgiving leftovers.
We were talking about that.
Get in line. I'm with you.
The TV full of football and the fridge full of food. I don't know what's better than that. I really don't.
So that's Americana right there. I just stood up and saluted you.
That's it. And the house is empty. I'm a social person. I love being around people. But when it comes to games, like games I care about, which some of those on Friday I really do care about a lot, I just soon watch them by myself or just me and my wife. A crowd of people to watch the Thunder or a crowd of people to watch the Sooners or the Cowboys for the game I'm not at. I got no interest in that. So I don't need, I don't need really people making comments about stuff they don't know anything about. So I just soon watch it in solo. So that's going to that'll be a fun day. Let's see, BYU. They're playing UCF. The Utes at Kansas. Is that Friday or Saturday?
Saturday. Friday at 10 a.m.
Friday. Oh, what a bummer for all the Utes making. You got the morning kickoff on Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. That's terrible. At least, that means people who are going to go need to leave on Thanksgiving Day. That's just awful.
Yep.
My condolences to the Utes. 2
years in a row. They were at UCF last year.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that ought to be a federal law that you shouldn't have two Thanksgiving weekends back to back on the road.
Both Fridays also.
Oh, really? Really? Well, the good news is I think Kansas is about out of gas. So the Utes, with that offense, I think Utah could probably win. I think Utah could get to 50 again. And I don't think Kansas can get to 30. So that should be a walkover. Hey, has anybody been talking about Jason Beck for the Broyles Award? I think he ought to win the Broyles Award, top assistant coach in America.
Yeah. Aaron Roderick just got nominated. I haven't seen anything out of Utah. Have you, DJ?
I have not, but Jake just said he's a semifinalist.
Yeah, Beck.
He's a semifinalist?
Beck and Roderick are both on the Broyles Award semifinalist list.
Oh. Well, the job that Beck has done, because they were terrible on offense last year, and they're just mowing people down.
42 points a game, sixth in the nation.
That's what happens when you get BYU guys up at Utah. It happens all the time.
Well, he's done a great job. So I'm all about that. I'm all about that. And the coordinator quarterback combination at Utah has worked out better than the quarterback coordinator combination at Oklahoma. So this is what OU was hoping for, but it really hadn't panned out that way. But man, it's panned out in Utah. So good for the Utes. Are we thinking? Let's see. Who's going to go to the Alamo Bowl? If
BYU, if they don't get in,
I've
read BYU USC in the Alamo Bowl.
But yeah, that's probably right. Because USC will be the Pac-12
rep.
Does BYU mind going back to back to San Antonio?
No, they went to 4 or 5 Vegas Bowls years ago under Runkleman and all. So Maybe not.
It's a fun place to go. Did they have a good time? Did BYU have a good time last year?
Yeah, because they beat Colorado. They beat Dion. They beat the Heisman Trophy winner. BYU fans think that game was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think they'd like a shot at USC. So whatever, going to the same city 2 years in a row, sure. But SC, absolutely. BYU.
Ooh, that would be good. Sign me up for that one.
Yeah.
BYU SC, that'd be fantastic.
Yep. Barry, we'll leave it right there. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy a house full of people.
Hey, see you guys later.
All right, thanks, Barry. Berry Tramel, Tulsa World, columnist right there. Didn't make fun of him talking about Illinois, did you, PK?
Well, he was making fun of Illinois.
Where'd they come from?
Right. Yeah, where did they come from? And I swear, man, they moved the Devils up 5 spots just to throw the Big 12 a bone and put Arizona in too. So now, wow, you look at the number of teams you've got ranked. You've got 5 too. Shut up. I mean, didn't it seem like that's what they did?
He's totally right about the 5 ACC teams. You got Pitt losing to West Virginia. You got SMU losing twice to Big 12 teams.
Twice. Yeah, twice.
And I'm the tiebreakers, I think SMU's got them. I think if SMU wins, they're in. So SMU could easily be in the Big 12 or in the ACC title game. If they win that, they're in the tournament. With 2 losses to Big 12 teams. But BYU's schedule is soft and Utah's schedule is soft, and they didn't play anybody. Oh, well. All right.
It's boo crap.
Exactly.
Boo crap, I tell you. Boo crap.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.